10 bad things smoking does to your body. No one needs the last one. Hello and welcome to the channel. Someone asked me in the comment section last week to give tips on healthy living. I happily oblige. Well, because that's my job. A major part of a GP's job is simply to give good education on healthy living and to practice preventive medicine. This is why we have checkups, well woman and well man clinics. But I realized to my shame that I had not specifically discussed the biggest health crime of all time, smoking. If you are a smoker, stop out your cigarette, cigar or pipe, buckle up and listen good. It's gonna be a rough ride. Smoking, one of the most preventable causes of death globally, continues to affect millions of people worldwide. Despite widespread awareness campaigns and the increasing cost of cigarettes, smoking remains a persistent public health issue. The adverse effects of smoking are far-reaching, affecting nearly every organ in the body. This video delves into 10 significant ways smoking changes the body in a bad way, and it explores both immediate and long-term consequences. The last one is arguably one of the worst consequences. Stay tuned right to the end to find out what this consequence is. But first, how did we get here? How did smoking become a thing in our lives? How did smoking come about? Whatever your hypothesis on the origin of life, I bet smoking does not form an intrinsic part of that story. If you are a Darwinist, of the belief that life forms evolved through survival of the fittest, where does smoking fit in? Because I can tell you, smokers are definitely not, as a group, the fittest of any group of human specimens. If you believe in the biblical creation story, well, the Garden of Eden was a smoke-free zone, I think. And if you believe that we all evolved from a single-celled organism, well, there was certainly no smoking involved there either. Smoking, particularly of tobacco, has a long and complex history that spans several centuries and continents. Its origins are deeply rooted in the cultural and spiritual practices of indigenous peoples, and its spread across the globe is closely tied to colonialism, trade, and globalization. The history of smoking dates back thousands of years. Indigenous peoples in the Americas were the first known to smoke tobacco. For these communities, smoking had both ritualistic and medicinal purposes. Tobacco was often used in religious ceremonies, believed to be a means of communication with the spiritual world. It was also used for its healing properties, as indigenous cultures valued tobacco for its ability to induce trances and its perceived health benefits. The practice of smoking spread to Europe following the voyages of Christopher Columbus in the late 15th century. When European explorers arrived in the Americas, they encountered the practice of smoking dried tobacco leaves. Fascinated by this new plant and its effects, they brought tobacco back to Europe, where it quickly gained popularity. By the 16th and 17th centuries, smoking had become a widespread habit across Europe. A famous story of this era was of the servant of the English explorer Sir Walter Raleigh, who, seeing his master smoking, presumably from the back, thought he was on fire and poured water all over him. Sir Walter Raleigh not only introduced tobacco to England, he is also known for the introduction of the potato into the diet of the English. So, we have him to thank for our diet of fish and chips. In fact, chips with everything. And a fag to go with it. Cheers, Sir Walter Raleigh. Initially, tobacco was considered a luxury item, primarily enjoyed by the wealthy. However, tobacco cultivation soon expanded, especially in European colonies in the Americas, making tobacco more accessible and affordable. The 18th and 19th centuries saw the rapid growth of the tobacco industry. Tobacco plantations, especially in the southern United States, became major economic drivers. The invention of the cigarette rolling machine in the late 19th century revolutionized tobacco consumption by making cigarettes cheaper and more accessible to the general population. With the Industrial Revolution and the rise of mass production, smoking became a common habit across various social classes. The early 20th century marked a significant increase in cigarette consumption, especially during and after World War I, when soldiers were often provided with cigarettes as part of their rations. This period also saw the rise of aggressive advertising campaigns by tobacco companies, further promoting smoking as a fashionable and desirable activity. This image is iconic, at least partly because of the cigarette. A clever attempt to make smoking seem cool. What better strategy than to use a famous actor of the day as a model for it? The tactic is certainly not lost on subsequent generations. The mid-20th century marked a turning point in the history of smoking as scientific research began to reveal the harmful effects of tobacco use. In 1964, the U.S. Surgeon General released a landmark report officially linking smoking to lung cancer and other serious health conditions. This report led to widespread public health campaigns, warnings on cigarette packaging, and advertising restrictions. As awareness of the health risks associated with smoking grew, many countries implemented stricter regulations on tobacco products. This included bans on cigarette advertising, smoking in public places, and the sale of tobacco to minors. Anti-smoking campaigns and public health initiatives became more prominent, promoting smoking cessation and reducing smoking rates in many parts of the world. Today, smoking rates have declined significantly in many developed countries, largely due to increased awareness of the health risks and stringent tobacco control policies. However, smoking remains prevalent in many developing countries, where tobacco companies have shifted their marketing efforts. The global health community continues to face challenges in combating smoking, particularly with the rise of new products such as e-cigarettes and vaping devices. Despite these challenges, efforts to reduce smoking continue to evolve, with a focus on prevention, education, and support for cessation. I hope with this video, I'm helping with this effort on stopping smoking. Help me out. Work with me on this. Now let's dive into the bad things smoking can do to one's body. Let's start with the lungs, shall we? The lungs are among the most affected organs by smoking. When inhaled, cigarette smoke releases thousands of chemicals including tar, nicotine, carbon monoxide, and formaldehyde directly into the respiratory system. Tar, a sticky substance, coats the lungs interior, impairing the cilia's function. The cilia being tiny hair-like structures responsible for clearing mucus and debris. Over time, this results in chronic bronchitis, a condition characterized by persistent coughing and mucus production, usually in early mornings. Furthermore, smoking is the leading cause of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, which includes emphysema and chronic bronchitis. In emphysema, the alveoli, the small air sacs within the lungs, are destroyed, reducing the surface area for oxygen exchange and making breathing increasingly difficult. COPD is a progressive disease with no cure, leading to severe breathing problems and a reduced quality of life. Smoking is also known to contribute to lung fibrosis, discussed in this video here, and of course, various forms of lung cancer, whether by active or passive smoking. Cardiovascular diseases. Smoking has a profound impact on the cardiovascular system. Nicotine, a potent stimulant found in cigarettes, causes the release of adrenaline, which raises heart rate and blood pressure. The increased heart rate and high blood pressure force the heart to work harder than normal, leading to the thickening of the arterial walls. This condition, known as atherosclerosis, is a significant risk factor for heart attacks, strokes, and peripheral vascular disease, where the arteries of limbs get furred up or blocked, with a high risk of amputation of these extremities. Increased cancer risk. Smoking is a major risk factor for multiple types of cancer. Lung cancer is the most well-known and deadly cancer associated with smoking, accounting for approximately 85% of all cases. The carcinogens in tobacco smoke damage the DNA in lung cells, causing mutations that lead to uncontrolled cell growth and tumor formation. However, the risk extends well beyond lung cancer. Smoking is also linked to cancers of the mouth, the throat, the esophagus, the food pipe, the bladder, pancreas, kidney, cervix, stomach, and even certain types of leukemia. In total, smoking is responsible for about 30% of all cancer deaths, underscoring its role as a major carcinogenic agent. Compromised immune system. Smoking weakens the immune system, making the body more susceptible to infections and diseases. The chemicals in cigarette smoke can suppress immune responses, making it more difficult for the body to fight off infections. For example, smokers are more likely to contract respiratory infections such as pneumonia and flu than non-smokers. We also saw what happened with the COVID pandemic. Smoking was definitely a suddenly surprising and shocking risk factor for catching COVID, along with obesity, of course, and general health susceptibility. Smoking can also exacerbate autoimmune diseases, where the immune system mistakenly attacks itself. Conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and Crohn's disease of the bowel have been found to worsen in smokers, likely due to the inflammatory effect of tobacco smoke on the immune system. Harm to the digestive system. Smoking has a significant impact on the digestive system, increasing the risk of various gastrointestinal diseases. One of the most severe effects is the heightened risk of developing peptic ulcers. Smoking can irritate the stomach lining and reduce the effectiveness of the protective mucus layer making the stomach more susceptible to ulcers. Furthermore, as just now described, smoking is a known risk factor for Crohn's disease, an inflammatory bowel condition that can cause severe abdominal pain, diarrhea, and malnutrition. Smoking also affects the liver, an organ essential for detoxifying the body. It increases the risk of liver cancer and cirrhosis, particularly in individuals who also consume alcohol. The combination of smoking and drinking can amplify liver damage, leading to severe health outcomes. Bone health and osteoporosis. Did you know that smoking is a major risk factor for osteoporosis, a condition characterized by weak and brittle bones? Nicotine and other chemicals in tobacco smoke interfere with the body's ability to absorb calcium, a mineral essential for bone health. This interference can lead to a reduction in bone density, making bones more fragile and prone to fractures. Furthermore, smoking disrupts the balance between bone formation and resorption. The chemicals in cigarettes reduce the activity of osteoblasts, cells responsible for building new bone tissue, while increasing the activity of osteoclasts, which are cells that break down bone tissue. This imbalance results in a net loss of bone mass over time, increasing the risk of fractures and osteoporosis, especially in older adults. Premature aging and skin damage. I can tell straight away who is a long-term smoker just by looking at their face for 2 minutes. I hope you can too. It's very easy. Smoking accelerates the aging process, both internally and externally. One of the most visible signs of smoking is its impact on the skin. The toxins in cigarette smoke damage collagen and elastin, the fibers that give skin its strength and elasticity. As a result, smokers often develop wrinkles and sagging skin at a younger age compared to non-smokers. Moreover, smoking reduces blood flow to the skin, depriving it of essential nutrients and oxygen. This reduction in circulation can cause a dull, sallow complexion and further contribute to premature aging. Smoking is also linked to skin conditions such as psoriasis, a chronic inflammatory skin disease that causes red, scaly patches to appear on the skin. Effects on oral health. The mouth is one of the first places where the effects of smoking are visible. Smoking stains teeth with a yellow or brown discoloration caused by the tar and nicotine in tobacco. It also contributes to bad breath and a diminished sense of taste and smell. More seriously, smoking significantly increases the risk of developing gum disease, periodontitis, a severe infection that damages the soft tissue and bone supporting the teeth. If left untreated, gum disease can lead to tooth loss. Smokers are also at a higher risk of developing oral cancers, mouth cancers, including cancers of the lips, tongue, cheeks, and gums. Reduced exercise tolerance and physical fitness. Smoking negatively affects physical fitness and exercise tolerance. The harmful chemicals in cigarette smoke reduce the amount of oxygen that reaches the muscles during physical activity, leading to decreased endurance and performance. Smokers often experience shortness of breath and fatigue more quickly than non-smokers due to the reduced lung capacity and compromised cardiovascular system. Furthermore, smoking impairs muscle recovery after exercise. Nicotine constricts blood vessels, reducing blood flow and oxygen delivery to the muscles, which can hinder muscle repair and growth. This impairment can lead to longer recovery times and increased susceptibility to injuries. Negative impact on reproductive health. Smoking adversely affects reproductive health in both men and women. In women, smoking can lead to a decrease in fertility, making it more challenging to conceive. The chemicals in tobacco smoke can damage the ovaries and reduce the production of estrogen, an essential hormone for reproduction. Smoking during pregnancy poses significant risks, including miscarriages, premature deaths, low birth weight, and birth defects, including shriveled up lungs in the offspring due to loss of a particular chemical called surfactant. For men, smoking can result in reduced sperm quality and quantity, leading to infertility. Additionally, smoking increases the risk of erectile dysfunction by impairing blood flow to the penis, highlighting its detrimental effect on male reproductive health. To this day, whenever I see a patient of mine strapped to an oxygen cylinder or device in their rucksack, or to a ventilator in intensive care, I ask myself, was that first cigarette really worth it in the end? Highly addictive. It is often an innocent first foray into the world of smoking that starts off the long road into poor health later. Previous generations knew no better. We do. What will it take to quit it? An amputated leg? Breathlessness going up a flight of stairs? A no-show on the romantic front? A fractured hip in winter? What? If you wish to quit, I can discuss ways to successfully quit smoking in another video. Just let me know in the comments, please. Do something nice for your body today. Quit smoking and get healthy. Any questions? Ask a doc.